love and respects. Few basic things. First thing, put your whole effort in every meditation. Only when you put your whole effort, the real experience can happen. It can be a life-transforming experience. Never think you come for a weekend vacation. If it is just a weekend vacation, understand why 26 people are following me. Did you raise your hand?
Yes, I did.
Oh, because you are all second. From all over, people who are attending first time, please see, from all over the country, 26 people are gathered here. And there are some people who are attending 4th, 5th program. Yes, 4th program. How many are 4th and 5th? Yes. These are all 4th. I think Geet Chettiar knows much more than me. Because she comes everywhere. Geet comes for every program. Understand? We'll start with a small story. One guy fell sick. He asked one of his colleagues, please suggest a doctor. The colleague suggested, here is a Dr. Pill, go to him. Surely he will heal you. He will heal you, but he is a little costly. For first visit, he charges $500. For next visit onwards, you need to have $100. Even though he is a little costly, he will heal you. This guy wanted to go to the same doctor, but somehow save a little money also. So, he went to the same doctor and told, Doctor, I have come back. The doctor was not even duped for a minute. He quickly diagnosed him and told, please follow the same prescription which I gave you last time. When you want to retain something, hold something, you will not get the total result. So understand, only when you put your whole effort, you get the total result. Water becomes steam only in the 100th degree, never in 99.9. So, if you say, Swamiji, I put 90% effort, that is not going to work. Please be very clear, 90% effort is not going to reap 90% result. Either you get the result or you miss the game. Here only, win or lose, that's all. No between. Please be very clear, either you win or you lose. So no, I put 80% result, Swamiji, I put 90% result, Swamiji, no. So, put your whole effort. People who are coming for second time, for them. Now please, people who are attending first time, please don't listen. Never think you know already. If you think you know already, you will miss the whole show. If you really listen, only then you understand how much you are missing every time. I may be speaking same words. Sometimes just I'll repeat exactly. Not even a word will be moved from here and there. It is not that I can't speak something new thing. People think that Swamiji has memorized all these things. Even, you see, I have a crew member, people who travel with me continuously. Even they thought, before I came to the States, in India only ASP I conduct. I don't conduct the everyday discourses. They thought Swami has memorized a discourse and he speaks that is the same thing everywhere. But only coming to the States, then they understood, oh, Swami can speak even different subjects. So don't think I am speaking the same thing because nothing else can be spoken. These are the cream of my wisdom. That is why I am using the same words and same ideas. If you really open up your being and listen, you will understand the different layers of meanings. Don't think the words have got the same meaning. If you have grown up, if you have become mature, same word will give you a different meaning. My discourse, if you listen first time, you will understand in one way. If you listen second time, you will understand in a different way. If you listen continuously, you will come upon new meaning. Many people come and report to me, Swamiji, I know that is the same audio CD I am listening, but many times I feel that I have missed something. Something new is clicking. Some more new understanding is dawning on me. Something new is happening to me. So understand, never think just because you are attending 6th time, 7th time, you know everything. Then you will feel only bored. So don't join the board club or board members or board committee. Understand very clearly, everything has got something new. Depending on your growth, words also will give you new meaning. You will have a different meaning. So be very clear. At least this time don't miss. At least this time don't miss. Catch. Never think you know already. Everything is new, unknown. And I am going to especially do these new twists so that you will not have that idea that I know. Because there are almost 50% are people who have attended. So be very clear, this will not be the usual ASP. Either techniques or discourse, anything may change at any time. So attend fully. Don't think, oh, we know this, we can miss one session. Because now it is like Ramayana Mahabharata. You know the whole story. Even if you miss one session, nothing wrong. You see, I have seen in India, the reciting the Ramayana is a great merit. The preacher will be sitting and continuously reciting, and the people will be sitting and sleeping. Because the whole crowd knows the story. Rama only is going to go to the forest, and Sita will be kidnapped, and Hanuman will go to Lanka. Again Rama will go to Lanka. Ravana will be killed. Rama will get into the throne. The whole story everybody knows. Even if you miss one session, it's not much. Nothing much is lost. It's not a big thing. Everybody knows the whole story. Even if you miss one session, nothing much will be lost. Like a TV serial. One day if you miss the story, nothing will be lost. Next day onwards you can pick up. People who are doing second or third time, for them it will become almost like a TV serial. Don't think it is TV serial. So, it's going to be totally different experience. And in meditation, nothing is old. Every day meditation is something new. Because every day you are exploring a different dimension, different depth of your being. You are going deeper and deeper. If you feel every day your meditation is same, don't meditate. Really I tell you, if you feel that every day your meditation is same, something seriously wrong is happening. Then you are not got the right technique. Your mind is cheating you. If you really meditate every day, meditation will be totally new. How can even meditation be old? It can never become. Put your effort totally. Sit as if you are sitting for the first time. Then you will understand a lot more new things. You will listen a lot more new things. 3 ways you can relate with me in this class. 3 ways you can use this class intellectually. If you attend this as an intellectual session, you will get enough of knowledge. But that is not enough. You may get enough of knowledge, but knowledge itself is not enough. Just intellectual knowledge is not going to help you. Sometimes it is dangerous because your head will become more heavy. Head weight is the greatest danger can happen to a human being. Knowing without knowing is what I call head weight. Thinking that you know without knowing, without having the experience, just having the thought that you have experience. So understand, knowing without knowing is no way going to help you. Just an intellectual knowledge is not enough. Second, with a little bit of effort, half of some way, little this and little that. Again, then you may have one experience in some one meditation, but that also is not going to help you. If you get one experience in one meditation, it's not worthy spending 2 days. One experience. After going from here for 1 week or 10 days, you will be the high mood. Even that is not enough. Put your whole effort 100%. You will see these 2 days will become a life transforming experience. You may think, how can this transform my life? Just 2 days. See these 26 guys. Talk to them after this class. There will be an interval. Talk to 26 guys. When they came, what they thought. After attending, what happened. Talk to them. Share their experience. Then you will understand it can really transform your life. I have seen many people coming and telling me after the program, Swamiji, I never thought it is such a great thing. If I would have known little bit, it's a great program, I would have put my effort little more. Then I would have had some more result. When I came, I took it very lightly, Swamiji, because when you see my age, I am very clear, I am very open, frank. When you see my age, it is very difficult to accept as a guru or a master or a Swami. And second thing, even if you accept, okay, you must have studied little here and there, then now I started speaking very nicely. So never think first way and then never think the second way. Of course, if you think in the first way and second way, it is not I am going to miss something. It is you who are going to miss something. I never give this type of introduction in the first session. First session I always be very light and without touching much, I leave. But this time I thought I should be very clear giving introduction. Because when you miss introduction, you miss the whole thing. If you miss the attitude of putting the whole effort, you will miss the whole thing. That is why I tell you, never think what these 2 days can transform. Even now your mind will be telling, alright, the Swami says, let us believe, that's all. But if you really understand, if you really talk to these people who have done this 2 days course, talk to them, and you guys who have done ASP, at least talk to 2 persons who are newcomers. Just share what you had, what experience you had, what you thought when you came, what you thought when you left. That too is enough. So that they will be inspired to put their effort. Everywhere I am tired of listening the same story. When they come with all their head, intellect fighting with me. When they go, I should have been little more understanding. I should have dropped my head little earlier, then I would have had some more experience. So don't miss. One thing, These guys, even if they have missed, they are coming here. At least Ohio last program is here. If you miss now, there is no more program. Actually, directly I am going back to Brazil and Bangalore. So you cannot even take chance. Let me go there and attend. You cannot even take the second chance. So don't take chance. Put your whole effort. At least these guys had a chance. They could come second time. For you, no second time is possible. So put your whole effort so that you go to the deepest levels of your being. You get a solid experience which can transform your life. Just to have an intellectual knowledge, you don't need to come here all the way, sit in front of computer without sleeping. That is more than enough. That is more than enough. But that is not going to totally help you. Even here, if you just sit with a little bit of alertness, you will have the intellectual knowledge. Of course, people who are sleeping, for them I have a special story. Small story. May not be for your sake, at least for my sake, please don't sleep. You may ask why. Yesterday I was telling a bus driver and a priest, both of them died and went to have the judgment. Saint Peter gave the judgment. He sent bus driver to heaven and the preacher to hell. The preacher asked for a justification. Give me justification, otherwise I will sue you. Must be from America. Anyhow, the preacher asked for justification. Saint Peter said, you see, here up in the heaven, we don't bother what you do. We bother only what is the result. When this guy drove, people were all praying for their life. When they were preaching, people were all sleeping. So, if you sleep, when I go there, I will get the hell. So, may not be for your sake, at least for my sake, don't sleep. Sit totally and listen. Next thing again, if you put half of effort, some chakra will be open and some will be closed. So there is some more danger. Some more danger. That's why I tell you, put your whole effort. Don't bother. My mind is wandering here, my mind is wandering there. Mind means it will wander. Don't worry about it. The very nature is mind is wandering. Somebody came and told me, Swamiji, my wife is not listening to my words at all. Then what do you mean by the word wife? The very word means not only she will not listen, she will have her own views. If she listens, whatever you say, then take her immediately to the psychiatric doctor. She needs treatment. Something seriously wrong. Take her to the doctor. She needs treatment. So, naturally, mind means it will wander. You know, don't bother, my mind is wandering here, wandering there. Whatever effort you can put it totally. That's all. I am not telling you to be perfect. I am telling you to be total. When you meditate, put your whole effort every moment. Sometimes you will forget you are supposed to meditate and your mind will be wandering somewhere. When you remember, don't have guilt. Immediately bring the mind and fix it. That's all. Immediately bring the mind and fix it. Don't worry that my mind has gone here, my mind has gone there. Oh, I am not cut for meditation. I am not trained for meditation. Don't decide before starting itself. Put your whole effort. Don't bother about perfection. Perfection cannot happen, but totality can happen. So, put your total 100% effort. Nothing else is necessary. I always tell one more thing. Whenever we listen something to do with our body, the physical things, medical things, if you go to a doctor, the doctor says, if you have pain in the knee, it may be the symptom of arthritis. If you have continuous pain in the neck, it may be the symptom of spondylitis. Immediately what you do? Even if you don't have neck pain, you just check once. May not be touching the hand, just mentally you check. Do I really have or not? You diagnose yourself mentally. When it is a physical things, you diagnose yourself, you compare with yourself, you work with yourself. If it is a spiritual thing, if you go to a spiritual discourse, that Swami says, you must have a little bit of adjustment and compassion in your life, only then you can be happy. What immediately you think? My husband should listen all these things. My wife needs this advice. I should bring my mother-in-law next time to the class. Whenever it is a spiritual thing, immediately you think of the other person. You don't compare with yourself. I have seen many people, everyone complains to me about the other. He is doing like that, Swamiji. He is doing like that, Swamiji. The common way I will tell, I understand, don't possess me, don't be too much possessive, don't be violent with others, see the divine in everybody. Just I will finish my discourse, immediately they will come and tell me, Swamiji, I am seeing divine in him, but only he is not seeing in me. If you really see the divine in the other person, will you complain about him? Never. You will never complain. People always think, I am speaking for the next person. I am speaking for the next person. Please be very clear. I am not speaking to the person who is sitting left to you, or who is sitting right to you, or who is sitting backside you, or who is sitting in front of you. I am speaking exactly to you. I am speaking exactly to you. So whatever I say, compare with yourself. If you feel it is not applicable to you, then raise your hands and talk to me directly. Don't think that, oh, this is a generalized statement. I think this is not for me. I am not so bad. As Swamiji says, I am little bad, that's true, but not so bad. Once Mullah Nasruddin was weeping. Her wife was in the deathbed. His wife was in the deathbed. He started weeping. Oh, you are leaving me and going away. What will I do? He started weeping. You are leaving me and going away. What will I do? She started shouting even in the time of deathbed. She is in the deathbed. Any moment she may die. But she started shouting. You fellow, I can't believe you. I know you don't weep like crocodile. The crocodile shows like weeping and never weeps. Don't weep like crocodile. I know the moment I die, you fool, you will marry once more. Nasruddin says, I agree I am a fool, but I am not so fool to do the same mistake once more. We always think we are not so fool. We are not so much. We are little bit, but we are not so much. Never think. There is only two categories in the world. Buddha or Buddhu. Buddha or Buddhu. Shiva or Shava. That's all. Buddhu means Murg, the fool. Either you are enlightened or you are fool. There is no between category. So don't satisfy yourself that you are middle category. Don't satisfy yourself as a between category. Either you are enlightened or fool. So understand that there is no middle category in between. So don't think you are middle. But all of us, almost every one of us, 99.99% of us think we are middle category. No, I am not enlightened, that is true. But I am not last category, I am middle category. We always think we are middle category. Don't think you are middle. Be very clear where you stand. At least you can start your next steps. Just understand and look into yourself with every statement. Don't look into others. These are few things, just 3 things. I am speaking to you. Put your whole effort and understand whether you are first time or second time to put the whole effort. If you are first time, put 100% effort. If you are second time, put 120% effort. Because your mind has become now matured even to leave the meditation. Meditation is like a pesticide. And you know, agriculture people, they say, if the pesticide has not died, if the insects are not died for the first time pesticide, they start learning how to live eating the pesticide. So next time you need little more dose. So people who are attending second time, they become mastered even the meditation. You have won even the Buddha. You have conquered the Buddha. Even Buddhas cannot do anything to you. So now you need to put little more effort. The dose, the pesticide dose has to be increased a little more. If you become enlightened, there is no need for you to come for the second course. So you have come here surely because you have not yet. So don't think you have got the whole 100% first time. So put your whole effort totally into every meditation. And mind and meditation is just like mother-in-law, daughter-in-law. They cannot stay together. It's ultimate law. It's ultimate law. Whenever your mind possesses you, your meditation will never happen. Whenever meditation possesses you, mind will never be there. So I tell you, when you meditate, don't let your mind come in. Don't let your mind come in. Your mind will tell, no, I am feeling giddy, I may faint, I may fall. Don't bother. If you fall, we are here to take care. Volunteers are here to take care. I know that I am in a country where lawsuits are common. So all techniques are foolproof techniques. Nothing wrong will happen to you. Nothing wrong will happen to you. There are thousands and thousands of people who have practiced this technique. I think it's the 54th or 55th ASP. In 1 year, last 1 year, I do ASP only in weekends. Only 1 year over. Almost every weekend. 1 year and 2 months I think. Last year, January I started. And January, 1 year, 3 months. Almost practically every weekend I am having a programs. All over the world, thousands of people have practiced this meditation. The only side effect which they have seen is bliss and the growth, spiritual growth. No other side effect, after effect. So, put your whole effort. Don't bother. Your mind will try all its best. I have knee pain. I have back pain. I think I have little headache. Let me practice next meditation. These all will be the tactics are your mind. Don't listen to it. Don't believe it. So, put your effort so that your whole being is boiled. Actually, it is an alchemy process. It is just an alchemy process. Some of the dirt will be removed from you. Some of the positive things will be added to you. And the boiling process will be done. It is almost an alchemy process. So don't worry about it. Put your whole effort. You will see that you are transformed. The next thing, You can all introduce yourself to each other. Then we will start the meditations. You may ask why we should introduce ourselves to each other. Because next 2 days you are going to be here, there. Somebody may be sitting next to you, somebody may be sitting in front of you, somebody may be unknown persons, new persons will be sitting in front of you, next to you. If you do not know the other, you will feel little uncomfortable. I've always seen. Whenever I tell them, please close your eyes and tie the ribbon, they will just look here and there. Whether he has closed the eyes or whether she has closed the eyes. There are some guys who will stand up and see whether everybody else has closed their eyes or not. If you know the next person, if you are already known to each other, you will not have uneasiness. You will not have discomfort. You will be able to close your eyes immediately and tie the ribbon. That is the reason I tell you, go around, introduce yourself to each other. Please introduce yourself to everyone. Let you take the slip. Please see the slip. There are 7 points mentioned in that slip. These are called 7 energy centers. Just if you read the name, that is enough. I will read out from Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipuraga, Anahada, Vishuddhi, Anya, Sahasrara. You don't need to remember the names. Don't worry about it. Just understand, that is enough. I'll give you the English names. Please write down the English names. Then it will be easy for you to follow. Mooladhara is root center. Swadhisthana is spleen chakra. Don't think spleen is there. That is the way they use in English. 3rd, navel center. Next, heart center. Anahata is heart center. Vishuddhi is throat center. Anya is brow center. Sahasrara is crown center. In all the religion, these energy centers are mentioned in different ways. In every religion, the mentioning of this energy center exists, including Christian theology. Even in the Christian theology, mentioning of these energy centers are there. May not be in the Bible directly, but in the energy centers it is there. In the theology it is there. Almost all the mystics, they speak about this energy center. The modern day Kirlian photography, just like X-ray, there is a Kirlian photography. In Russia, they use this Kirlian photography as a diagnostic system. Anybody who knows about the Kirlian photography? Who heard about it? Just like X-ray, they photograph your aura body, your etheric body, the subtle body. By photographing the subtle body, 6 months ago they are able to diagnose fatal diseases like cancer. Just by photographing you. Just by photographing, they are able to diagnose the disease 6 months earlier. Not 1 day or 2 days, 6 months earlier. Actually, any disease happens to you physically only after happening in energy wise. 6 months ago they are able to diagnose the problems. Through this Kirlian photography, they proved the existence of chakras. When a person meditates, the chakras get expanded. When a person is stressed or worried, the chakras get shrunk. It is very clearly proved. Each and every one of your energy centers are related to some particular emotion. For example, love is related to your heart center. You may ask how. Around the world, in all the culture, in all the language, love and heart are used as synonymous. Love and heart are used as synonymous. Not only in English language, in every language. Any of you who knows some language in which the love and heart is not synonymous? Can tell me. Because more than 50-60 language I referred. In every language it is synonymous. Love and heart. Two words are used as synonymous. It is not that God has created all languages in one day. CD translation packages and dropped in one country. No. Every language is developed. Different languages are developed by different person in different place, in different country, in different situation. Then why love and the heart, these two words are synonymous in all the language, in all tradition? There is some more deep connection between these two, love and heart. If you see some of your childhood friend, suddenly, surprisingly, you see him or her after 20 years with whom you have a loving memories. Suddenly you will feel something is happening in this region, something will be coming up. That is what is love. Many people come and tell me, Swamiji, the moment I see you, I start weeping. Many people will, oh again. Some weep out of love, that is different. When you see somebody with whom you have loving memories, cherished memories, joyful memories, just your heart overflows. You can feel exactly in this region something happening. How many of you have felt that when you meet somebody, when you see somebody, after a long time, that something will be happening here?
I have a story.
People who are attending second time, please give chance for the first time. Let them all relate with me. You can very clearly feel that something is happening in the Anahata region. I always tell, love is a peacemaker. If you have the peacemaker, you don't need pacemaker. When you don't have peacemaker, you need pacemaker. Love is a emotion which is related to the Anahata center, heart chakra. Worry or depression is related to navel. You can always see. Understand totally in the heart, that is more than enough. If you take the notes, you will miss my discourse because my speed is such, you will never be able to capture. Ask the people who are with me for more than 2 years. People who attended 40 ASP, I think my PRO and all, they attended 40 ASP. 40 ASP they attended. Ask them if they can take notes or anything. No. So it is impossible. Don't try to take notes. When you try to take notes, you will miss a lot of things. So just take insight. That is more than enough. Just understand. That is more than enough. Whenever you don't understand, you are free to raise any question. It is not that you should continuously listen. You can just ask questions. You don't have to feel, oh, I will be asking crazy questions. All questions are crazy. Be very clear. All questions are foolish. So there is no such thing separately, crazy question or foolish question. So you are free to ask question. If you don't ask question also, don't think you look like an intelligent guy. So we always think, if I ask question, I may look like a fool. But most of the time when you don't question, you actually not look like, you act like a fool. We actually do that. A small story. One guy went to bar. There one salesman was standing. Sales representative. he was dressed up in a very smart way. This guy was very much impressed seeing his dress. He also wants to have the same type of dress. He went near that salesman and asked, "What is these shoes? What shoes are they? What shoes are they?" This guy replied, "Crocodile shoes." Immediately this guy, he didn't understand. Not only he didn't understand, he doesn't want to show that he has not understood. He could have at least asked one word, what it means, where I will get it. He didn't ask any clarification. He doesn't want to show that he is ignorant. He went to the next person, one of his friends, asked, "What is crocodile?" The friend said, "Oh, it's an animal which lives in the river. If you go to Brazil, you may get it." This guy sold his old Ford car and whatever savings he had and took a ticket, flight, went to the Brazil, got hold of a tourist guide. With his help, somehow he went inside the jungle, started traveling inside the jungle, and somehow he managed to get a boat also, and he was traveling in a river. He was just rowing in a river. Suddenly tourist guide shouted, "Hey, here is a crocodile, here is a crocodile." Took out his big knife, jumped into the river, had a big fight. Almost he was lost, but somehow he managed to kill that crocodile, and managed to pull it out of the river. After pulling it out, he just turned to the crocodile and shouted, "Oh, there are no shoes on this crocodile." If you miss one point, if you would have raised one question, if he has raised one question, if you ask only once, "What is crocodile shoes?" then the whole journey would not have been there. If you miss one point, if you miss one thing, the whole thing will be lost. So I tell you, whenever you have doubt, don't think if you ask some question you will look like a fool. If you don't ask, only then. If you ask, you may look like a fool, but if you don't ask, you may act like a fool. Looking like a fool or acting like a fool, what is best? You decide. Looking like a fool is much better than acting like a fool. So, whenever you don't understand anything, stop and directly question. There is no need to just record. Don't just take the notes. Understand, you will see that the notes is taken in your heart. And one more thing, even if you miss the joke, don't miss the laughter. There are many guys who are just sitting and watching me. And some guys, "I know this joke already." One more small story. One big intellectual philosophy professor. As you all know, the philosophical professors are my favorites. One philosophy professor went to attend a discourse by one of his own students to see how he speaks. As soon as the student knows that professor is coming, he prepared too much for the discourse. He started giving a discourse. The discourse was so nice, the whole hall is enjoying. Everybody is just bubbling, overflowing with the joy. And everybody enjoyed. But throughout the discourse, this guy had a long face. You know the philosophy professors, how they keep their face. Long face. That guy kept a long face. Not even once he acknowledged or smiled a little bit. The student is totally disappointed. What is this? I prepared so much. The whole crowd is enjoying except this one man. And after the discourse, this student went near the professor and asked, "Sir, was it not good? Have you enjoyed? How is my discourse?" "Oh, you simply picked up from one book. I know the whole discourse. You simply picked up from one book and repeated it. I know every word of your discourse is in that book. This guy got shocked. Then the professor challenged. Tomorrow I will present that book to you. Tomorrow I will bring that book and give it to you. You can see by yourself. The whole book, whole your discourse, word by word it is there in that book. The guy is shocked. Next day, he has received a book from that philosophy professor, dictionary. The book is dictionary. These philosophy professors, they know how to make anything dull. Anything can be reduced to dullness. If you think you know already, you are also a philosophy professor. If you think you know already, you are also philosophy professor. So don't miss the laughter, even if you miss the joke. Granny is thinking, I know all these jokes, how can I laugh? Don't think, even if you miss the joke, don't miss the laughter. People ask me, Swamiji, I don't know the language. In India, that's one more problem. For English ASP, Tamil people come and sit. For Tamil ASP, English people come and sit. And because getting seat is very difficult in India. Enrolling is very difficult, too much of crowd. So they ask me, Swamiji, I don't know the language, what should I do? If you don't know the language, then you are the right person to sit. When you don't know the language, at least you are clear you don't understand. You know you don't know. But if you know the language, you don't even know you don't know. You understand half of and you think that you know. That's a problem. So even if you miss the joke, don't miss the laughter. Nasruddin was telling a small joke to all of his friends and a cup of coffee. He missed the joke so much, he lost the punchline. Nobody was able to understand. Nobody could understand. They missed the joke. But somehow one guy started laughing uproariously. Good belly laughter. Others all asked him, what have you understood? Why are you laughing? Keep quiet. The guy who laughed, he told, laugh yourself, otherwise he will tell the same joke once more. So if you don't laugh, I will tell the same joke once more. If you have done SP also, understand. If you are not going to laugh, I am going to tell the same joke. Your worry and depression is very closely related to navel center. Whenever you get some news which is shocking, which you are not able to bear, the first blow will be for stomach. You get the stomach upset. How many of you have experienced? Yes. You get the first blow for stomach, and again you say, I can't digest it. This expression that I can't digest exists in all the language. When you get some shocking news, they're exclaiming, oh, I can't digest. I can't stomach it. Exists in all the language. Worry is related to the navel center. Each and every emotion is related to one chakra. If you use that emotion, that chakra opens. If you abuse that emotion, that chakra gets locked. Emotion is the energy which puts the chakras into motion. Energy plus motion is emotion, which gives the energy for the chakras to move, is emotion. Every emotion is very closely related to some one chakra. In our 7 sessions, we are going to have 7 sessions in these 2 days. We will work on every chakra, the emotion related to that chakra. We will discuss about that emotion and a technique to awaken that chakra. If the chakra gets awakened, that emotion gets purified. If that emotion is purified, the chakra gets awakened. It's like a circle. You can awaken the chakra and purify the emotion, and purify the emotion and awaken the chakra. Both can happen. If this happens, that happens. If that happens, this happens. These 2 days, every session, we are going to first understand the emotion, how to purify it. Then do the meditation to awaken the chakra. Purifying the emotion, purifying the chakra. These two are the things we are going to do in this whole course, whole day. First we will work on Anahata Chakra, heart center. The first energy center is Anahata Chakra, heart center. Chakra which is situated in this region, in the center of the heart, not in the center of the heart. Immediately, always people ask me, Swamiji, I underwent bypass surgery, will the chakra be there as it is? Even if your heart is removed, don't worry, the chakra will be there as it is. Chakra can never be removed by bypass surgery. The chakra will be there without being disturbed. It is up to your consciousness, not the physical thing. It's a metaphysical energy. I was telling you, love is the emotion closely related to this chakra. Let us see what is love. I'll take some of your help to understand what is love. Answer me what you feel as a love. Please don't bring all philosophical answers. I've always seen, as soon as I ask what is love, people say, selflessness, Swamiji. Are you selfless? Is your love is selfless love? Give me the answer which is your experience. No philosophy. I know much more philosophy than you if I start speaking philosophy. So give me the practical answer, because now we are here to work on the practical level. If you just want to know the philosophy, go to the website and touch meditation. Just type www.meditation.com. 3,000 websites open. Not one, not two. 3,000 websites are opening. You will get thoroughly. So I am not here to talk any philosophy. I am here to talk only something practical. So, answer me what you feel as love. Let us start with Nidhi Jackson. What do you think as love?
How you feel
Okay. If you say that somebody loves you, what is the scale?
well, you don't know if somebody loves you.
Alright, when you love somebody, what is the scale? Care. Okay. Then let us go to Shalini.
What I think love is, I guess love is it's a sort of feeling you get there towards someone or something. I guess the closest thing I feel like, sometimes I feel like the closest thing to God that you can come.
Okay. Mangala Venkatesh.
It's an intense positive feeling within oneself.
Towards somebody or within oneself?
Could be towards any object or person or anything.
Do be. What is love?
Feeling that I have when I'm around a person or an animal, you know, a good feeling that I have a connection.
Then B-O-N-G-U, Bongu Sudarsha Rao. Yes.
it's a feeling. It's different in the different situations. Like with a child, it's a different feeling. With parents, it's a different feeling. With the wife, it's a different feeling. With the God, it's a different feeling. It's very difficult to express. I don't know the right word.
Okay. Okay, let me put the whole thing in nutshell form and present. The best answer, down-to-earth answer, is given by her, Nidhi. Caring. This is the only word which we can directly understand. This is the only expression. If we love somebody, we care for them. If somebody cares for us, we say that they love us. That's all. Caring and attention is the only thing with which we can measure the love. All other things are just superficial words. This is the right, straight, direct word. Caring. When you care for somebody, you say you love him. When somebody cares for you, you say he loves you. But slowly, what all the ways it gets degenerated. The feeling for caring others, or the feeling of attending others, or expecting that others should attend you. How it gets degenerated. How it locks your anahata. Most of the time, attention need, asking for others' attention towards you, becomes a attention need becomes a big necessity. If you scan your life, you will understand 80% of your actions are nothing but, not 80, I think 90. More than 90% of your deeds, your doings are just asking the others' attention. In every step, you ask the others' attention. You want others' attention. If they are not attending you, sometimes you just force you to attend. In every step, if everybody attends you, you feel very good. If you are not attended, you feel you are not nobody. Have you seen these kids? When the kids play, they will throw something or they do something, and then they will slowly turn and see your face, whether you accept or acknowledge it or not. If you acknowledge, then they will go ahead. If you don't, then immediately they will again look you back and just sit silently, and some will start crying. Each one will respond their own way. From the very young age, you ask for others' acknowledgement, certificate. Asking others' acknowledgement, certificate, attention. All these things. Asking for the attention, asking for the others' care, asking for others' certificate. Our whole life, you can see, continuously is nothing but collecting certificates. From the very beginning, first collecting a good certificate from the parents, then collecting good certificate from the teachers, then from the friends, then from the professors, then from husband, then from kids, then from grandkids, then from the community. From everybody, we want good certificates. Whole life you can see, it is nothing but a long signature campaign. True, you have a big notebook with you. Wherever you go, you carry. You just immediately write, I am a good person, please sign it. I am a good son, please sign it. Good wife, please sign it. Your life is nothing but a long signature campaign. When somebody is not signing, you feel bad. If more person signs, you feel more good. Your ego is pampered. You feel you are attended. You are cared. You feel good about yourself. that you are somebody. More and more sign, you feel you are bigger and bigger person. That is why in our life, every step, we expect others' opinions, others' certificate, others' care, others' attention. Have you seen the kids playing? They build castle in playing cards. Have you seen? With the playing cards, kids build a castle. They build buildings. Just like that, you also build your personality with other certificates. And kids are intelligent, they build their castle with their own cards. You build your castle with other certificates. Anytime, any guy, if he takes away his certificate, what will happen? Whole castle collapses. And as long as you dance according to their tune only, they will let their certificate to be with you. When you dance according to your own tune, what will happen? Immediately, certificate will be taken away. How long you can be dancing everybody's tune? So, when you dance for your own tune, when you live on your own, immediately the certificate is taken away. Then, if one person removes his certificate, the whole personality collapses, tumbles down. That is why, even if the person who is not certifying you, even if he is not directly involved in your life, the person who is commenting about you or not certifying you, even if he is not directly related to your day-to-day life, you feel depressed. Just one guy in the road, if he says, "Are you dog?" immediately you bark at him and prove. If somebody asks, "Are you mad?" you yell at him and prove. Any one word from one person can easily depress you. If you think you are a very sensitive person, if you think you are continuously getting disturbed, if you think that you are an emotional person, be very clear, you are not emotional person, you are a weak person. You allow so many persons to interfere in your life, if you allow so many persons to rule your anahata will never open. Heart opens only when you center your whole energy on the heart. People ask me, "Swami, should we not live a compromised life? Should we not adjust ourselves?" Adjustment is different and compromise is different. Understand? Adjustment means you will never be disturbed by anybody's opinion. You are totally centered on you. Even after that, you just adjust out of love and compassion with others. That is adjustment. Compromising means you are not solid about yourself. You yourself just by the other's opinion. You are like a centipede with 100 legs. Centipede can move only with 100 legs. If one leg is taken away, what will happen? It will fall. You are also emotional centipede. You need 100 persons with you. All the 100 should praise you. They should say, "Oh, you don't you know about him? He is such a good person. She is just such a good person." Everybody should pamper you. Only then you feel like moving. Otherwise you feel like drop, dead. If you just live based on others' opinions, if you just live for the sake of others, if you just live a compromised life, it is much worse than live dead. I tell you, physically being handicapped is nothing wrong. Psychologically being handicapped is the worst thing. It is the worst thing. If you continuously bother about others' opinion, you are psychologically handicapped. Any fool can put you in depression. It's a homework. Please, all of you do it. Do this as a homework, small homework. When you go back, just write how many persons can put you into depression in your life. Just write a list. It will not be big homework. I don't think it is going to take 10 days to write this. Half an hour if you sit, you can write. If it takes more than half an hour, it is not worth writing. Then you are in continuously depression, don't bother about the list. Half an hour is more than enough. Remember, who all can put you in depression? Who all has got the capacity to put you in depression? Then you can be sure you are slave of all of them. You are searching or asking for all these guys' certificates. You are behind their attention. I tell you one thing. If a man gives his attention, don't think he will simply give. He will give his attention only when you act as he wants. So psychologically he will be ruling you. I have seen so many so-called leaders. They are not leaders, actually mass is leading them. These priests or the politicians, both are actually not leaders. Don't think they are leaders. Mass is actually leading them. Mass opinion leads them. It is not that they lead the mass. Mass opinion leads them. You are also, you think you are a leader, but mass opinion only leads you. Actually, God is a very intelligent person. You always think that you have your own will. He makes you think you have your own will, but He guides in His own way. And women also, very intelligent. You may think that you are deciding. She will do such a way that you will think you are deciding authority and you will decide what she wants to decide. You will exactly decide only what she wants, but you will have a clear conviction that you are the authority. It's a very subtle way, and most of the time you are ruled, but you don't even know you are ruled. Make a list, yes.
Why Rama sent Sita away after the 14 years exile? But somebody, some person in his kingdom said something and he sent away Sita.
Yes, it's the right question.
What is the question?
In Rama's kingdom, one Dobi commented about Sita's purity. Then immediately Sita has been sent out of the kingdom.
He is giving value to that person's opinion.
That person's opinion. I tell you, it's my honest feeling, Rama is not enlightened. At least from this incident, I say, he is simple king. He is not a human being. He is just a king. Whatever you may give the justification, at least from my experience, I cannot accept this, any judgment for this incident.
He tested Sita.
Yes, not only tested the Sita, disrespected Sita. There are many people who give many explanations. Oh, no, he is a king, he is supposed to be an ideal person, he is supposed to show the path for the whole society, for whole humanity. But somehow I am not able to digest this incident. So, whether it is a Rama or Kama, mistake is mistake. So, from my point of view, I can be sure Rama has done surely a mistake.
Swami,
Just giving respect to, yes.
Rama is said to be an avatar, one of the avatars.
Even if he is an avatar, if he has done a mistake, means mistake only. We cannot justify it. We cannot justify it. If we go for justifying,
Is
yes.
it possible that he had a reason to do it behind it? There was a reason behind it.
What was the reason? Tell me.
Whether it could be just so the people that a king listens to his people and does accordingly because it was that age but people's voice were heard and he cared everybody, he wanted to see everybody happy and there was only one person who is
Oh, everybody happy. Then what about Sita's happiness?
he went for the people's happiness, not for his happiness, not for his wife's happiness.
Oh, so you see one thing. If you can't care for your wife's happiness, how will you care about the other people's happiness? What are you talking? Very sensitivity.
According to Ramayana.
So very sensitivity. I don't think this incident can be justified. You see, it is not that I don't have devotion for Rama. Surely I know much better about Rama than you all. I know him much more intimately than you all. It's not that I have a disrespect for Rama, but this incident cannot be justified. I tell you one thing. There are few incidents maybe added to their life which not happened. There is a possibility. When the person who records the history, writes the Purana, if he has got his own understanding, it might have entered into the incident. Either the incident is not totally recorded from all the angle, or the incident is insertion. This type of justification may help, but otherwise, if the incident is true, it can never be justified in any way. Anyway, the incident can be justified as it is. I tell you, if you cannot be sensitive to your wife with whom you lived so many years, who followed you to the forest, and who was with you continuously, and this Sita, if she would have thought, she would have stayed with Ravana, and she would have been much more comfortable, much more happy, much more joyful. She would have had all sorts of luxuries. But she never did that. She never even thought about it. She never even imagined. And that time, the kingdom of Ayodhya is very small, and kingdom of Ravana is too big. She would have been a queen of 3 worlds. So, no way this incident can be justified. You can understand in 2 ways. Either it is inserted by somebody who has not understood Rama, or the incident is not totally recorded. There may be some other possibilities that this Dhobi would have commented and Sita would have got totally upset or disturbed by this comment. Then Rama would have told, go and meditate, spend some time alone to grow out of these comments. If it is that case, then okay. Or if it is an insertion, it is okay. If the incident is true, we cannot do anything except blaming Rama. Except blaming Rama. We must be honest. Let's not support him just because we have vested interest on him. If you hold on to principle, you will reach the state of enlightenment. If you hold on to personality, there is every chance of missing it. So don't hold on to personality. Don't justify the persons. Don't bend the principle for the sake of persons. Bend the person for the sake of principle. I always tell the people, don't hold on to me, hold on to my philosophy. Don't catch Nityananda, catch Nityananda. If you catch Nityananda, that is not going to help you. Catch Nityananda. Catch Nityananda if he helps you to put Nityananda. Catch Nityananda if he helps you to guide towards Nityananda. So, catch the principle. So, from my experience or from my view, I can tell you, this incident cannot be justified. It is totally wrong. Then any fool Dhobi will comment and you will just send your wife away to the forest. It's surely wrong. It's surely wrong. I think, then if that is the case, then we will be waiting just for the Dhobis. Which Dhobi will comment? Let us some more. If that becomes an ideal, then we are all waiting for Dhobis. Actually, one day, one devotee, I know that she is having problems with her husband. She purchased a big Rudraksha mala and she went to the house with a big Rudraksha mala. I asked, "Hey, you are going with such big Rudraksha mala. Are you not afraid your husband will run away?" She said, "I am waiting for that only, Swamiji." I am waiting for that only. And one guy went to Himalayas and took mantra diksha. He took some mantra, came back to the house and started repeating it. Wife came and asked, "Hey, what are you repeating?" He was not replying, just repeating. "Hey, you guy, tell me, what are you repeating? You went to Himalayas and came back and you are not even speaking. You are just sitting and repeating. That guy did not reply. Are you guy? You tell me what are you repeating? What for you are repeating? This guy did not reply. He shouted at him and threw pillows on him. That guy did not even turn, just he was repeating the mantra. She got totally frustrated and told, "You fellow, all these years I was living with you. Now just suddenly you went to Himalayas and came back and started repeating some mantra, and you are not even speaking to me." Again you are keeping silent. "Fellow, it is not worth living with you. Let me leave you. I am going to move away from you. I am divorcing you." She shouted and packed her luggage and she was about to leave. Again she asked, "At least one more chance I am giving you. I have decided I am leaving you. Tell me what are you repeating? What is the thing is happening?" The moment she left, this guy said, "Wow, I never thought that mantra will work so quickly."